Hello, hello. I'm live. All right. So today we're going to be doing questions and answers, and I'm completely here for it. In the meantime, until people come in here, I'll get started and stuff like that with just anything, right? I don't have any specific order. I'm going to dive into connection because this is really what I do with Twin Flames is help people connect with themselves so they can experience connection with another person that the universe calls in. Okay. I'm going to drink some of my water. So this is very important. Hi, Vibe Frequency. You made it. This is going to be my regular time now, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I apologize. I was eating before I came on. And so hang in there with me, okay? I'll try not to be really rude here and stuff like that. So this journey, masterclass still coming because we got to talk about this journey, okay? A lot of this journey is, it feels like it's not what you asked for. You're like, why am I on this journey? Why are these things happening? Why? Like a whole bunch of whys, right? And you believe it wasn't you. I didn't ask for this. But there were moments you're like, this feels painful. I want an easier life. This feels so painful. Like I want love. I want a partner who hears me, who sees me, who connects with me. Whatever pain you were going through in those times, whatever painful job you were experiencing, this is all part of it too, which we'll address because I have to say this loud for the people in the back of the room. You have a mission to do, okay? Let's get going and do that mission. No, I'm super passionate about it because I stepped into my mission years ago and it's been an amazing experience. It's really great. If you're nervous about doing that, it's okay. We all start with being nervous. And one of the things that we do is help you overcome that, overcome the nervousness, the money blocks, and all of this so that you're making money, working on your own. You're stepping away from ego land. That's why I call the workplace. That is ego land right there, okay? That is a pot of ego mixed together and limiting beliefs and all that you're around. And when you're on this journey, it's super hard to be around that. It gets really, really hard to be around people who can't see themselves. And we're not judging them. We're just saying they can't truly see themselves. And you're like, I wish you can see. I wish you can see the mirror. I wish you can see what's really is happening here and all this kind of stuff. But your soul calls for you to step away from all of that so that you're vibrating high and you're living your best life. And now is really the time to do all of that. Okay. So again, like I said, for the people in the back of the room who might not be listening, get to it right now. Okay. And so the universe positioned me on the chessboard of life to grow in my calling. And it's been an amazing year. I'm so excited to hear that. That is wonderful. And I'm glad you shared that. So anyone who's feeling nervous about it, and believe me, feeling nervous is a normal feeling. When you start a new job, when you move to a new location, you move to a new country, of course you're going to be nervous because you haven't quite experienced it, but that's just the starting point. It's not the end of anything, okay? And this twin flame thing was the best thing to happen to me. Yes, it was. All right, so we're going to get back to that, and I'm so happy you're sharing your experience there. Yes, it was. It was definitely the best thing. It was the best thing that happened to me too. Through all the crying, the tears, the anger, frustration, yelling at the universe, and all of this kind of stuff. But I'll explain why that happens. The pain, it feels like you're suffering, all of this. It is ego. It's ego. Your soul is trying to lead you somewhere. The ego wants to keep you safe. And when you have the ego and your soul, I want to say clashing. It's not really clashing. Your soul's not clashing. Your soul's just doing. Okay. But the ego is like, I don't want it to do. I want to see it. I want to believe it. I need to make it happen. And I'm used to running things a certain way so I can feel safe. or other people around you are used to running things a certain way. So they're going to communicate with you to help you make them feel safe. Can you believe that? Every time someone says, no, you should do it differently. No, what do you mean your intuition says this? I think you're making it up. You need to date someone else, for example, even though your soul is guiding you in a direction. You need to date someone else. You need to go back to a 9-to-5, stay in a 9-to-5 so they can feel comfortable. Them, not you. Them. This is all ego. Okay. And so when you come around, when you haven't yet really understood what's happening, and I mean, in a way, like you're noticing ego and you're, I want to say you're connecting with, it's trying to leave you. I hope I'm not lagging. I feel like I'm lagging a bit. Let me know if it looks weird or something. Anyhow, we'll continue. When you haven't quite become aware of what's really happening with those thoughts, those limiting beliefs, and you're kind of just letting it run the show, so to say, it makes the journey feel challenging. One of the things, and I love talking about ego. I actually have an ego masterclass that I'll put down here. Oh, thank you for the compliment. All right, high vibe frequency. And so one of the things that will help you very much on this journey is to understand the ego and how it seeks to protect you, the things that it says, and that kind of stuff. Let's dive into the ego, because this is my area. You can call me the ego queen. And I'll have to give a little bit of a story about this. Woo! When I came into this journey, I was like, ego, what on earth is ego? What is this? Okay. Not knowing how much I was an ego. And so I would have conversations with people and I would say, no, but things are this way and that way. And it would frustrate the living light out of someone because they're trying to communicate their point and I was stuck on my point, and making them see my point and believe in my point. And so this was, all right, I'm sorry, I was talking about it not lagging. All right, thank you. Oh, okay, with that. All right, well, I'll take it as a compliment though. And so and I spent so much time trying to figure out what on earth is this ego. I had joined a twin flame group. The first group I joined, the first time I heard about twin flames, and I was hearing things about ego. I bought the course and there were things about it, but it literally, I kid you not, took me years to figure out what on earth is this ego. And the way I was able to see it was the same person that kept saying, no, I'm right. It wasn't like I was saying I'm right, but I was giving off like I'm right. Because I'll tell you something, the ego is a belief. It's a belief. And that's all it is. It's a belief. A lot of times that belief is not true. And it's your belief, my belief, this person's belief, everyone's belief. We all have ego. So we have these beliefs and we have perceptions on this journey and how we interpret things and that kind of stuff. Does it make it the truth? Probably not. Probably not. Most likely not. I want to say most of the time, no. And so this person would just keep walking away. Whenever I got into ego, she was like, oh, and then just walk away without saying anything. And that's when I started to see it. I was like, oh, 𝐿, you're doing that again. You're doing that again. And that's the thing with ego. It seeks to divide. It seeks to destroy. This whole I'm right. No one else is right. I know what someone is doing. They are doing this. Therefore, I'm going to do this with no evidence of it. No evidence. Okay. I like to look at the ego as the inner child. Yep, that's your inner child right there. Your inner person, it's you throwing a tantrum when you were younger. I hold on. I got to plug this thing in. So give me a second. Okay, I am back and just plugging in my laptop before we get cut off. Don't want that to happen. And there we go. It's charging. All right. So I'm right. That's what's happening with them. They're hurting me. They're purposely doing something. They're even though deep down you're like, no, they're not. Or their higher self comes in and says, oh, this is what's really is happening. The ego is so strong. And it says, that's not true. Okay. And this happens with your business too. No one wants anything from me. No one cares what I'm talking about. No one needs my services. All of this kind of stuff to protect you. I'm going to tell you one of the number one thing for you to do on this journey is to identify the ego and stop letting it run the show. But what I love is don't ignore it. Okay. This was one of the biggest things that I learned is to stop ignoring the voice that says something. And, you know, if you've been following me, you know, I've had running tendencies. Like it is time to go. I am bothering this person. This person doesn't want me. I need to get out of here. This is how my mind would work, right? And so one day, while I was in the middle of God, make him go away, I can't do this, and that kind of stuff, I stopped to ask myself, why am I saying that? Why am I saying that? And that was really when I started to dive into what the ego was saying. And a lot of times and this is fear, this is all fear-based, however you want to call it. This is your inner person who did not have things their way and is throwing a tantrum. Okay. It's not coming my way. I want it. And all this kind of stuff. Or I don't want it because it's not happening the way I want it to happen and things like those. So this was where I started to really look into it and say, okay, what are you telling me? Fear? Fear of what? I'm making it up. It's not true. He doesn't care about me. I'm the only one feeling it. Whatever it tells you, okay? That is my biggest thing where I'm like, do not ignore that. There are so many messages that says don't listen to it or anything like this. But what's actually happening is the ego is also your subconscious. It's three ways I like to look at it. Ego, so your subconscious thoughts, your inner child. Those three. Brain wired a certain way, however you want to look at it. And so when you hear it out, you can begin to break it down. Break that belief. Notice the pattern. When that ugly voice begins to talk, listen to it. Okay. And one of the things I also teach, I'm getting to the comments too, I love it, is to give it evidence. Give the mind evidence because all it knows is destruction. You know, for a really long time, it just sees the negative in everything. Something positive could be unfolding, but the mind says, no, it's not. It's not working. I can't see it. And all this kind of stuff because it is trained to see that nothing is working. Okay. So every time you see something is working, some positive stuff is happening, teach it. Your mind, your inner child. Hello. Did you see that? Like that. Like really. Did you see that? Something positive happened. Okay. Perhaps twin flame reached out. If it's someone else, a divine counterpart comes along and is there for you and is listening. You know, this is not a one-time thing. This will be a persistent thing. You're a business owner and someone says, you changed my life. Your message saved me. Train those thoughts to see that something positive happened. Okay. But there's other sides of this too, because your thoughts do create your reality. It is the way that it is. We'll get to that. All right. So let me see. Someone told me something about my twin, which had me questioning my intuition and wanting to cry. I had to get it together and let myself know what I've been feeling about my twin is right. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. Your feelings are important. Everything you're sensing is relevant. Unfortunately, when we're growing up, we're not taught how to pay attention to that, to our gut feeling, to the messages that come in, to the signs. Perhaps there were signs showing you what was going on. You're like, I don't want to look into that. Okay. A lot of times we're not taught to hear it. That's one. And the other thing is that we get afraid of the outcome. If I address this particular thing that I know has been right all along, I've been feeling it, I'm going to be in pain. Okay. And it's going to hurt. And I don't want to feel that pain. So I'm going to, even though I feel it, I'm sensing something is right, I'm not going to pay attention to it because it's going to hurt a lot. Yes, it will hurt a lot. But here's what else that happens. Okay. If this doesn't apply, if it resonates, it doesn't resonate, I'll share this from experience. When you ignore that, the thing persists. The thing continues. We tell ourselves maybe it's going to go away, and it does not. How many times in a connection have you experienced that, where you're like, we're having problems in this connection, but I don't want to address it? What happens to the problem? It gets worse, right? And eventually you're like, I was right all along. Okay. So one of the greatest things on this journey to do is to pay attention to that feeling. Get good at paying attention to that feeling, because that is your intuition. It's your superpower. It's your psychic ability. It's talking to you. And connect with your inner guidance around that. What do I do with this? And listen. Okay. I know my inner guidance was like, 𝐏𝐿, you need to walk away. And I said, I can't do that. I can't do that. And it came louder. 𝐏𝐿, walk away. And you know why that is. Why we know something, we feel something, but we can't listen to ourselves, is because of our people-pleasing ability, if you want to call it that. If I walk away, not only will you feel pain, but so will they. If I address it, it's going to be painful. Maybe they're going to deny it. Maybe they're going to get upset. Maybe they'll deny it. Did I say that? All of this. So by staying quiet, I'm not only protecting myself, I'm protecting them. But are you? Because your intuition is telling you something. You know, when you have that feeling, you know, you get real good at recognizing, you're not looking for it. It's a feeling that comes up. Get real good at believing yourself the first time when that feeling shows up. And here's the thing, bring it up. You're like, how do I bring this up? And I know for so many people, you may be connected with your twin flame, your divine counterpart. You're like, but we're not even in a relationship. How do I bring it up? We don't even have a title. Like, what am I going to say? Like, I feel like I'm controlling. Listen, starting today, you honor your feelings. Okay? Starting today, not tomorrow, not next week. Begin practicing that today. Your feelings are valid. You're wanting something more from the person. That's valid too. Okay? You and the person, if you are on different pages, you never know until you speak up. Okay? That's okay too. You're honoring yourself, okay, and the feelings that you're having inside. And you're not, what's the word? Misleading yourself. You're believing something is happening because no one's talking about it, while they're believing something different is happening. But here's the twist. You might be like, I made my feelings clear to them, so why is this happening? Chances are you probably did not, because we're not taught how to go into the pain and express what we're feeling. the truth. And so when we don't do that, they can't either. And then a lot of times what happens on this journey is we look at them, whoever, anybody, and say, why are they doing that? You know, it looks like they're not interested. They're going over, but they're not sure you're interested. Because there's a part of yourself that you're just like, I can't open up. I can't share this. And then you get that mirror. They can't open up. They can't share this. And now everything just feels confusing. Okay. Your feelings are the starting point for all of this. And, you know, when you get good at being in your truth, you uncover so much. You save yourself from heartache, whatever that may be, even if you have to cry it out because you're getting the truth. There's a saying that's coming up right now. The truth sets you free. It does not keep you caged up in prison. It sets you free. Okay? And this is how you and your person begin to really understand each other, is when you're communicating that. And they become a reflection of the communication. It's a reflection. A lot of this is a reflection. People tell me, 𝐿𝐼𝐻𝑒𝑖𝑛, I want a really good relationship. Okay, so where in you, not whoever out there, has opened up space for this really good relationship? Because what's in a good relationship? What's in it? Honesty, openness, communication, trust. So when you meet someone and you're like, I don't know if I can trust them, but I'm not going to open up. They can trust me. I'm not opening up. They can trust me. But how can they trust you if you're not opening up? How does that work? They don't open up. So you're like, I don't trust them. They don't tell me their feelings. So when you're hiding yours or your truth, or you feel like you're saying it, but it's what's your actual truth, how do they know to trust you? These are the things in a really good relationship. When you ask yourself, you want a really good connection with someone, you've got to go into the pain. The pain connects you with the person. It doesn't do anything differently. Ignoring it increases pain. Go into it, you get to heal. You and the person. Okay. And so I didn't expect it to be that long. But thank you for that. Sacred Time with Carlita. And Natalie says, I have a fear I made this all up and I'll be made a fool of. I'm sure this is my ego protecting me as it felt too good to be true, but I have a belief good things don't happen to me. Okay. I know that belief. I want to give it a little bit of a twist, and you can let me know how you feel about this, right? Good things don't happen to me. I want to say your soul, the universe, hears you on that. You know, these cameras, like, I'll practice looking into the thing. I like looking at the comments and looking at everybody, right? Okay, so going back before I cut myself off, your soul, the universe, God, whichever you're connecting with, has heard you. Good things don't happen to me. Guess what? You got heard. Because there's a part of you that says, I want good things to happen to me. Okay? And that's what's unfolding. I'm not a believer that, I did say your thoughts contribute to your reality, but looking into your thoughts helps you to align with the actual reality that's unfolding. Because there is a reality that's unfolding, and your thoughts will make it look like it's not, but it's working. So, okay, so in the good things don't happen to me, in that feeling, you go through experiences that are going to kick those old patterns that have made it hard for good things to come into your life. Okay. And those experiences are not light. We think it's going to be light. God's going to be easy on us, just do a spin, a twirl, and it's there. Reality changes. But no, what happens is, for example, if you've been putting yourself to the side and people pleasing, you'll encounter people who use you in some kind of way. You'll feel used because it's teaching you to stop people pleasing. If you're, let's say you give, you don't receive. Oh yeah, that's another one. The users, it teaches you to stop giving and begin to receive. Let there be a balance in energy. Okay. That's just an example. Living situation changes, work situation changes. Some people they go through job changes and all this kind of stuff, and it feels like things are falling apart. Like, why is my job downsizing? Why am I losing my home? Why all of this? And it feels like you're losing, but the universe heard you because there's a part of you that says, I want good things. And guess what? Those good things was not in that job you can't stand, that home or the area you were living with that you want so badly to move out of. They're not there. Those good things are not there. Okay. And so this is what happens. You go through certain situations that feel unpleasant because the mind says everything is being destroyed. But the universe is saying, I'm moving those things out of your way so you can have those good things you want. But when we don't yet fully trust ourselves in our magic and our ability to create changes, we go into it's not working and begin to, you might call it sabotage. I don't really call it sabotage. Like you're sabotaging, your thoughts are sabotaging. I look at it like you're releasing. It feels like sabotaging. You're having these moments, you're like, nothing's working, I don't care anymore, and all that. You're releasing, let it out. Don't hold it back anymore. Don't hold it back anymore. That is a part of you that's been wanting to be heard. That part that says, I deserve good things. I want those good things. Okay. And this is one part. The other part that says nothing is working is going to find its way out. Let it happen. Okay. And really connect with yourself and your intuition, because I'm telling you now, good things are unfolding simply because you want it. You want it. Even if you haven't declared it out there, like, I want it, you don't quite know it yet, it's unfolding for you. But it starts by being in your truth. No more hiding from yourself and from people you're connected with. Every time we hide ourselves, we hide our truth. I don't know about you, but I feel miserable. Someone does whatever they want to you and you stay silent about it and you say nothing to them. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. That good thing you want is trying to come to you. But if we do the things that keep us in this space of, I don't feel good, I know I should speak up, I don't want to, I can't do it, it makes it hard for it to come through. That is the tough thing on this journey to swallow. I say to swallow, right? Is I gotta speak up. I need to say something. I can't keep putting myself to the side and putting everybody else before me while I'm hurting inside. I can't keep this mask on my face pretending I'm okay when I'm really not. And I want to connect more with others, things like those. And once you begin to follow that path, you're going to see those good things. You're going to see those good things. And it's amazing. That connection will come in and it feels like, woo, it just feels wonderful because you're no longer hiding from yourself. So then you attract someone who accepts and appreciates all aspects of you because you're doing that with yourself first, where you're appreciating and accepting all aspects of yourself. And it feels really good because you don't have to pretend anymore. You don't. And that person is there for you because you're there for you. Okay. That's how this turns around. And all right. So thank you for that, Natalie. I hope that helped. And if I'm saying it right, John Javi, hello. So glad you're in here. Okay. And I'm going to get back to being made a fool of. All right. I've had heartache, betrayal, narcissistic abuse. My dad wasn't loving, so I have belief that I'm somehow not worthy of love from the masculine. Other parts of my life is great. It's just love. Yeah, it definitely is that particular area. You know, being on a twin flame journey, many of us who follow this are, there's no duality, but if you think about it, feminine. A lot of us following this are feminine. So this would mean there's masculines too. But it's not a male female thing. It really is just energy. Okay. Where we've experienced a lot of wounding with the masculine energy. We've experienced wounding with both energies to think of it. And the when you think about the masculine energy, it's the doer, the protector, provider, all of this, right? And so when you get with someone who's not doing, who's not protecting, not providing, and this can happen in narcissistic connection. There's you know, it happens there. It's masculine energy. Okay. And the healing begins there. Healing what you've known about masculine energy. So these things come into your life, these particular behaviors come into your life because this is what your inner person, I do a lot of inner child healing, is used to. She doesn't know anything else. She does not. She's used to that. And so she'll keep attracting that. And even if let's say a really good person comes in, all she knows is that. So she's going to pick it out. She'll so-called sabotage because it can't be true that this person is good. So I want to call it trauma lens. She would see connection through a trauma lens because that's what she's used to. Again, that's your subconscious mind. She needs your help with that. Okay? She doesn't know anything else. It's just like what I had mentioned earlier with ego. When you see good things happen, when, like, for example, you see loving couples outside, you connect with the person inside of your subconscious mind, however you look at it, and look for evidence of it. Okay? Because they're around. Healthy relationships are around, but because your inner person is not used to that, she's filtering out all of that and she's not seeing it. And then once you work with her and you help her to heal these patterns, guess what? Your connections change. You're no longer attracting these type of behaviors, the men that would, or even your twin flame. If this person comes in that gives heartache, betrayal, and all this stuff, that's no longer a part of your reality because now you've helped her learn something else. This is your subconscious. You're shifting it, right? But here's the next step. Once that starts to happen, okay, this is the work I do with clients. It's amazing. People are having like loving connections. Once it comes in, your inner person is going to be like, what is that? I'm not used to that. Help her feel safe. That's the next step. Help her feel safe in that good connection, that loving partner, that perhaps she's looking, she's like, I don't know. I don't fully know yet if I can trust that. Help her. Okay. Because once you've done the healing, you can trust that. You can trust that. Okay. And then it gets easier. Your nervous system is relaxed around the healthy connection instead of feeling relaxed somehow in that toxic connection. It's like totally relaxed in it that I'm not saying that you were fully relaxed. Maybe you were having panic attacks and all this kind of stuff, but was relaxed enough to stay in it. knowing that you needed to leave. But once you do that healing, there's a part of you that's like, I can't be around that. Like your energy rises and you're just like, that no longer resonates. Okay. I was married for 10 years with someone who exhibits narcissistic tendencies. I'll put it that way. you know what I mean? And so after that connection was over, I want to say before once I realized what narcissism is, like it took 10 years for me to come across that word, narcissism. And then I said, if I said it right, that's what that was. My 10-year marriage was going nowhere, except I have my kids. And I learned a lot about connection. I learned a lot through that connection. What I teach and that kind of stuff, the push and pull, I saw all of that. And I was like, you mean to tell me all those 10 years I was up against a wall? I didn't know that. And so I joined a whole bunch of narcissistic groups. And I was in there and I was learning, and I swear I could have a PhD on all of this. You might see more content around this, okay? And I was able to be in those groups, and I got a lot of healing. I learned about the different types of narcissism, the covert narcissism. That one sticks out to me. My experience was covert, and I believe overt is another one. All these different terminologies, the way they look, the way they study their prey, the smear campaign once it's over, all kinds of stuff I learned. But once I started feeling better, even the day he walked out the door, I have to throw that. The day he walked out the door, I cried for like an hour, tears of joy. It was like I could let my breath out. I could breathe again, okay? And I remember typing in one of the groups, my goodness, he left. Happiest day of my life. I've been crying. Well, one of the happiest days. I have other. I've been crying, these tears of joy. Everyone was like, congratulations, and all this kind of stuff, right? And where was I going? How did I get into this? I lost my train of thought. Then my energy started to improve because I was doing this healing, and I couldn't be in those groups anymore. I was like, oh my goodness, that's how low my energy was. That's what happens. You don't even realize it. A lot of things on this journey is energy. Learn about energy. And when you're healing, your energy is rising. And your connection, your business, all of this, as you're healing, your energy rises. And everything that's in that lower energy no longer is tolerable. Your body can't take it, because it's not an energetic match. And so when you come across someone who has narcissistic tendencies or who seems like a liar and all this kind of stuff, your body literally picks up on that, and you're just like, stay away from me. Whereas before healing, you couldn't sense that. It was there, but the energy matched, so it was tolerable. This is why I really recommend healing. I usually put my link below. I'll put my link there to book a call. Okay. I'll put it now. All right. Because my intuition talks to me. They're like, is she? I'm like, okay, all right. I'll get this link and I'll put it up here. But while I'm doing that, let me answer some more questions. Okay, so I'm going back to, my ex-husband was a narcissist. I met my DM, okay, I'm lagging a little bit now, to go through a divorce. My ex-husband was a grandiose narcissist, okay? I went to therapy and studied narcissist. That word is always hard for me. All right, let me know if it looks like I'm lagging on my end. It looks that way. And I also go out of narcissistic channels when I start. All right, got it. So I'm going to go to afraid of being made fool. You know what? I'll post a link later because I believe that's what's slowing things down for me. Is to open up that page. All right. When we feel like we are a fool on this journey, I'll tell you, you're not a fool. All right. It's because we weren't taught, okay, this is better. It's not lagging on my end. We were not taught to believe and trust our intuition. We weren't taught, this is growing up, we weren't taught about energy and how powerful energy really is. We weren't taught unity and how we really are connected with one another. All of this. And so, because we don't have that awareness, we feel like we're making things up. Because we're taught to look in the physical and believe everything that's there that we can see in our eyes. But the physical is an illusion. And I'm not going to say it in a way like what you're seeing is not real, not that. No, what you hear and feel inside is real. A lot of times we don't know what someone is going through. Sometimes people, I'll leave it alone. Sometimes people are not good at expressing their emotions, connecting, all of this kind of stuff, but we can feel it. We can feel when someone's going through something. We have dreams about it. We have all this kind of stuff that lets us know what's going on with the person. But because we're not raised to live life through this way, we believe we're making it up. You are not. Okay. So this is one of the things that you can do for practice is when you hear and feel something about someone around you, ask them. Okay. When you get a message that says, reach out and call your cousin or something, call somebody, they pop up in your mind and you're like, why are they on my mind? Call them so you can see how real that is. When you feel your twin flames energy, that's because their energy is on you. And the same goes vice versa. When your energy is on them, they feel it. Okay? Depends on the awareness. So if someone is not aware that they're picking up on someone's energy, they may pick it up as if it's their own. They're like, oh, I'm thinking about this person today. When in actuality, it's you thinking about them. And I always say, if you have obsessive thoughts, you think it's all you. There's that oneness, okay? Perhaps they're having obsessive thoughts. And you pick up on the obsession as if it's you. Okay. For those who have contact, you have communication, open up about some of these things. And I know you might be like, I don't know if I can open up. If you feel like you can't open up, is because you believe you're the only one experiencing this. One of the things that really helps with opening up about what you're going through, you don't have to put a label on it, is that it helps that person see that they're not making it up. But when we hide things, like I can't say anything, they can't say anything, now we're looking at each other like two people looking at each other, wondering if they're making this up. Okay? All of this stuff you're sensing and feeling are real. Energy that you're sensing is real. The people around you are going to tell you that's not true because they, no judgment. They haven't reached that level of awareness that you do, or they're not on a particular spiritual path that you're on. So they won't see it. You might hear them say something. It's interesting because the same people who say you're making stuff up are going to say some woo-woo stuff from, I don't know, from these religious books, and then tell you you're the one who's woo-woo. And I'm like, but you talk about the Holy Ghost, you talk about all kinds of beings that you've never seen and stuff like that. But then spirituality gets labeled as something different. And a lot of times we're all speaking the same language with different perspective on that language. Okay. And so try it. When something comes in intuitively, when you feel something about someone, you hear something, their higher self is saying something, give it a try and ask them about it. All right, so we'll be here for a bit. I gotta share a story. I share this story with my clients. I share it with you. The time that I came to understand 5D communication is real communication. Okay, the dreams are real. Feeling like whatever it is you're feeling, they're all real. So this happened with my son. He was going to a birthday party and he rode his bike over there. And he told me, don't come pick him up. He's gonna come home. Then when it came close to the time the party was about to end, I intuitively heard, Mom, come pick me up. And I'm like, okay, where's this coming from? Like, I'm over here, like I'm trying to cook. Then it got louder, hurry up, come pick me up. So I go over there. I had to drop everything. I went over there, and then when he saw me, he was like, why are you here? I told you, don't pick me up. And then I said, okay. The phone's ringing. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Let me know if you can hear it. I don't feel like getting up. It'll end soon. And so right. It is distracting me. I just didn't want to get up. All right. So at first I was going to leave it alone. I was like, all right, I guess maybe I'm making this up or something. I help him put his bike in the car. And then while I'm driving, I decided to ask him. I was like, were you thinking about asking me to come pick you up? And then he said, yeah, because his legs felt really tired and he didn't know if he could really ride his bike back home. If that happens to you, where you get this message, but it looks like the person's mention it, say something, because we're not taught that our intuition, that we all have psychic abilities, that we're all connected, this oneness, we're not taught that. So we believe we're making it up. We believe other people who say it's made up and that kind of stuff. None of this is made up. And I don't care how spiritually gifted you are. You know, some of us are beyond. I call it beyond. All our gifts are great. You know, some people have connections with aliens and all this kind of stuff. I say honor every bit of it, because there is more. I mean, that's part of your gift. Perhaps do something with it too, because there's more than what our eyes are seeing. You know, our eyes see ego. This 3D world is ego. It's our perception. We believe this is happening and all this kind of stuff. But our intuition tells the truth. Okay? And we just have to really believe that. All right. And I felt intuitively to call my twin flame Monday. I'm an empath, so I know when it's my energy and when it's him I feel. Yes. And did you call him? I hope you said yes. If your intuition says to do something, we don't know why, but it's guiding you. All right. And he told me 6 months ago he loves me and thinks about me every morning, every night, but he can't be with me. I'm not sure whether to trust him. It's been very quiet since. Then the doubt creeps in. All right. So this is definitely an area to work on, is that. And any healing that you do, all right, there goes again, for you, not him. For you. Why is that out there? Okay. And high vibe frequency says a religious person called my spirit guides devils the other. Sure. But we know the truth. We know the truth. And I grew up in church, but even though we talked about the Holy Spirit, we never talked in flames. I was drawn to the subject. Ooh, I got kicked out. All right, I'm back on now. Let me know if you're seeing me okay. I might have to switch my internet. All right. I was drawn to the subject and was drawn deeper into finding out more during total separation. And you did call him. All right. Yay. Sacred time with Carlita. Good to hear that. And you're following your inner guidance. That's what it's about. All right. Okay. Getting better internet, right? Definitely have to do getting better internet. But I thank you guys for your comments and your patience during this live. I truly appreciate everyone. Soon, I'm getting back to pre-recorded videos. I can't wait for that. I love those. I'll still continue to connect with you live. This has been really great. And any other questions? If not, we can do a Q&A again. I love it. Bring your questions. I'm certainly here for it. Again, I'll put the link below for you to dive deeper and explore your connection, your fears, your worries, all of this, and get yourself to a better place on this journey. I promise you, I say promise. Promise is very deep. Keep healing. Trust your intuition and allow it to surprise you. Allow the reality to surprise you, because that's what the universe, that's what your soul is doing. It's leading you towards something, and you have to really believe in yourself. All right. So I leave with you with that. And thanks for coming. I'll catch you guys next week. Bye.